There's this famous quote, right? The whole point of a dance is not the destination on the dance floor. The whole point of a dance is the dance itself. When you're dancing, you're not looking to get to a certain point. You're not looking to get to a certain spot. The whole point of dancing is the dance. And this is a quote by Alan Watts, this philosopher, person, whatever you want to call him, who explains, and I'll touch on how it relates to trading, right? Because that's why you're here. But he is a person who, as you know, philosophers analyze the reasons why we're here, the what brings us joy, what what brings us happiness and fulfillment, like trying to seek fulfillment or doing things that provide fulfillment within you. You name it, right? It's pretty much just describing our existence here on this planet. And Alan Watts is someone who I listen to, still listen to, even though he passed. A lot of his teachings from while back, early like mid 1900s, and a lot of his philosophies, a lot of his teachings, not just him, Stoicism. He preaches a lot of Stoicism, a lot of Buddhism, but people don't realize how much those things, such as the philosophy, Stoicism, Buddhist mindsets, how those intertwine with trading. Trading is not. It never was about how much information you know. That art of day trading, the art of looking at the charts, the art of looking at the lines on the screen, was never about how much like money you're making. It never was about the actual end goal. In my eyes, this is a switch that was flipped in my eyes. So let me touch on how why I mentioned the Alan Watts thing, and I'm gonna touch on this little like anecdote, this little story, right? And just kind of connect it all together on how it makes sense with the trading world and how this just changed my thought process on how I view trading and how it made me more profitable, more consistent. So today, so for those of you who know, those of you who don't know, I've been working at a casino, um, and today was my last day at this casino. This casino obviously is not a career like I want my career to be trading. This casino is more of a stepping stone. Excuse me, a stepping stone because I was working in an office job. This casino allowed me to trade because I was working from 12 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So it gave me the mornings free. And the pay was shitty. I was getting paid like 20, I forget what it was, like 24 an hour. Working at a casino, doing some customer service, some marketing role. Um, like people would come in, they had rewards cards, right? And if they had an issue with their points, and people use those points to redeem them for certain things, depending on how much they spend. And I would help them do that, help them with those things. So today was my last day because I'm starting a new venture, starting a new thing uh, in the upcoming weeks. But trading's always gonna be my thing. But I'm starting this new venture, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a journey, right? It's gonna be a journey. It's gonna require me to move, but it's something that will put me in the right direction, fund my trading even more. But going back to today being my last day at this job, and I'm gonna tie it all together at the end. For those of you who've ever left a job, for those of you who've ever put in your 2 week notice, right? I put in my 2 week notice, so I knew today would be my last day. You know that last day hits different, and not in a way like obviously you have joy because you're like, okay, I can get out of this place. Obviously you're excited, uh, because you're going on to new things, hopefully bigger and better things. Not because of those reasons, not because of the generic reasons that we all leave a job for. Most times because you're getting more money, or you're pursuing your passion, or you just hate that place. Like, obviously, you're going to have joy when you leave. But it's a different feeling. This feeling that I felt was a different feeling. And it's a feeling I felt before, multiple times, but it's a feeling that it doesn't happen as often I would like, and it's not like the feeling of joy, none of that happiness. Being that I knew today was my last day at this job, it was like something in my mind, something which clicked, and it made me notice things that I normally don't notice. And the whole shuffle of just working at this customer service job, just people coming up to the desk, volume, just handling constant volume. There was something different today. And that was, I noticed my interactions more. I noticed my, like, just dealing with certain clients or guests, whatever you want to call them. I noticed that I was more present. I was more in the moment with these people, even though I've done these things a million other times for a couple months now. And it was a it was a moment of being present. You know, when you're, say you're playing a sport, say you know that feeling where you're just like in flow, right? You're just present. You're not thinking. There's no thoughts going through your head. It's just like you notice what's around you, and you see things for what it is. And it was like I was enjoying things more because I knew that would be my last time working at this job that I didn't. It wasn't like a career; it was just a stepping stone. But I knew, since today was my last day, I knew that this would be my last time doing a lot of these things. So it made me more present. It made me more focused on task I was doing at hand, because I knew, okay, me printing out this card, this is gonna be the last time I'm ever doing this. Me giving this announcement, this is the last time I'll ever be doing this. So it's like, enjoy it, because you're not just going through the motions. You're not just going through the. It's not like you're just going through a script. You're actually present. You're actually. I know I said it multiple times, but you're in the moment of what you're actually doing. And that's something that's tougher nowadays. That's something, because all the technology, people can't focus on more than whatever 10 seconds on a thing. All these like short clips, people's attention spans are all over the place. But today, I was able to notice and enjoy the things that I would, I guess, take for granted, because I knew I had to clock back in the next day. So like, I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on this. I'm not gonna. I don't really care. I don't really. You know, when you ever go to a new city, you go to a new country, even the things that are the most boring things, like trees, right? Like, say you go to like Florida, or you go to like a Caribbean island. The trees look different. It's such a boring thing, but it's like you're seeing it with new eyes because it's something you've never seen before. So you're enjoying it more because you're more present with it because it's something that's new to you. It's the same feeling that I had today, knowing that it was my last time. So I was like, let me make the most of this time. Let me be present. And the things that normally bother me, I didn't let bother me, because I knew, okay, this guy's upset. This is going to be the last time I'm dealing with an upset person like this. So let me just put on a smile. It's not going to matter at the end of the day because I'm never going to see this person ever again. You get what I'm trying to say. So today was my last day. How does this story, this anecdote, how does that tie in with trading? Like the story that I just mentioned. And the moral of just me mentioning that is, In order to be a great trader, consistent trader, in order to be a successful trader, you don't need all the knowledge in the world. You don't need to be a finance bro. You don't need to have a finance background. You don't need any of that. Right? You don't need that. All you really need, because trading in my eyes is 90 to 95% mental, psychological, philosophy. Like literally all in the mind is that 90 to 95% of trading. The remaining 5 to 10% is actually, okay, you need to know what the charts are doing on the screen. You need to actually know your platform. You need to know certain patterns. That's 5 to 10%. But the remaining, the majority, is knowing how the mind works, is knowing how your brain functions, essentially. But in order to do that, going back to the quote I mentioned in the beginning, the whole point of the dance is the dance itself. You don't dance to get to a point in the floor, on the dance floor. You dance for the art of dancing. And the same goes with trading. For successful ones at that, consistent ones. And this is a mindset shift. Once I got rid of, stopped looking, covered out how much I'm making on certain trades, once I put that aside, I literally covered on my screen. Once I got less focused on how much I'm up, how much I'm down, and actually was present, was in the moment, was in a state of flow, the trading just happened. It was just easy. The trade just came together, right? I knew at certain points this is when I had to exit. I knew at certain points this is where I had to enter. I knew at certain points this is where, okay, we need to cut our losses. This is where our stop needs to be. And there was no emotion involved. It's just in a state of flow. It's back to that state that I felt today of just being present. But the thing with trading, right? You have to view each trade as its own individual trade. You have to view it as its own individual thing and be in flow and be in focus with that particular trade and just let it do what it has to do. Just be in flow state. Be present. You don't need to know every news article on a specific ticker, on a specific stock. You don't need to research every little detail on a company. If you're a trader, fundamental. If you're an investor, that's different. This is trading. Trading is having a plan, a general plan, right? It fluctuates, but having a plan, going into it, knowing where you're going to exit, knowing where you're going to enter, and sticking to the script, but you have to be in flow. It's like when you're playing a sport, playing baseball, football, basketball, any sport, doing a physical activity. If you ever, for those athletes, you know when you're locked into a game, when you're actually playing at a high level, or just in general, there's moments where you're not even thinking. You're not thinking at all. You're just doing the sport, doing the boxing, doing the whatever, baseball. You're just working with what you got because you're present, you're focused, you're locked in to what you're doing, because we're not trying to get to a specific point on the dance floor where we're just, if a pitch is thrown this way, we got to adjust and hit it that way. That mindset between an athlete, philosophy, and trading all coexist. It's a state you can get to, and that's a state of flow. It's a state of presence. And this is life advice, right? Being present with what you're doing, being present with anything, is how you get the most out of something. Because if you're doing something, say someone hands you, say you're at work, right? Someone hands you a task, but you got a million other things on your mind, you're not going to be focused on the task because you're not fully engaged, and you're trying to multitask with something else over here, and then you're trying to do this, you're flipping from screen to screen. I think that's the worst thing you could do. like having multiple charts on the screen. Like two, I guess two is cool, but once you have like three, four, five, six, seven charts, you're not fully locked in onto what's going on one screen. So these seven other screens, you're giving a partial, a little glimpse of your, or whatever, a little slice of your attention when it should be focused on just solely one, two max, because you need to enter that flow, this flow state this flow state of being, this flow state of doing, and not the flow state of a destination, not the flow state, not the state of how much you're up, how much you're down. Once you're focused on the money, the actual money, you make stupid decisions because you're so focused on, oh, I need $50 more to hit 1,000 today. Let me hold a little bit longer. When your analysis is telling you to take your profit now, but then you hold for a little bit longer, and instead of being up 1,000 or 950, now you're down, right? Because you're so close to that set price point of, oh, let me make $100, or $50 more, but the charts are telling you something different. That's why certain indicators, like, people shouldn't focus on certain indicators, solely just focus on indicators, because you just have to go based on price action. Indicators are there to supplement you, but not supposed to be the driving force on you making a decision, because you have to enter that flow of what the price is doing at that specific moment, at every single moment. It's all about being present when you're trading, and I've noticed that when I'm focused, I don't need music in the background. I don't need a TV going on. I don't need a million things. Like, when I trade, I don't have none of that. I don't want to talk. It's going to be hard. I want to do live trading, right? But it's hard for me to like talk while I'm trading because I'm just so like in the moment. So that's something I'll practice with time, actually giving analysis as I'm like trading and making money. But I I like my attention solely focused on whatever chart I'm looking at. I'm in flow. You know, when you ever just given or been in an interview, like, this can go any example you want. You've all know what that flow state feels like. Like, you all know what the state of just like things. Say you're in an interview and those words are just coming out your mouth, and you don't know. Just the first time you said these things, but it sounds good, and you're in a flow state, right? And you probably don't even. You probably, once the interview's over, you're like, I don't even remember what I said, but I know that was a great interview because I was just listening and speaking. It wasn't like I was hearing him, having an answer in my mind already, and then just waiting for him to finish, and then just giving the answer. You have to listen and then respond. It's the same concept of just like flowing. It's just flowing. That's all it is. At the end of the day, it's flow state. And this is life advice, man. But this life advice is trading advice. Because 90% of this is trading. Or 90% of this is mental. 90% of this trading game is mental, bro. Getting to a point where you could just hop in, hop out of a trade, and just, whether you're up or down, that shouldn't matter, man. That shouldn't be the end goal. And that's why most people don't make money consistently, because they're just so fixated on a number when you should be just going with the ocean, going with the waves, man. It's this is a different point of view, but it's a point of view that changed my perspective. Obviously, you need to have a plan, you need to have a structure, but you also have to be able to adjust and adapt and flow. I know I said flow. Count how many times I said flow in this, but I hope I help tie it all together, right? Being present, taking each trade as its own individual trade, as if it was your last trade or your last moment doing a thing, because you're those moments where you know it's going to be your last time doing something, you remember it the most. Like if you ever left the job, you remember your last day. You enjoy your last day, not just because of the happiness, like I said, but you enjoy it because you start to notice things you've never noticed before. And that's because you're in flow. And the same thing applies when you're in flow when you're trading. It's like things are just going, like it's just flowing through you, bro. Like you're just attracting the money, right? It's not like you're chasing the money, it's just you're attracting it. So this is a different point of view. It's more of a like a spiritual like type of deal, but it ties together and makes sense. So try thinking of it like that. Try getting into a flow. Try getting into a state where you can just see the charts, place the trades, close the trade. You don't even know how much you're up or you're down, but you know you followed the script. So stay tuned. I think I rambled long enough. Stay tuned. I'm growing from the account from 300 to 1,000. Currently at 712 or 711. Had a green day. Had my first red day in the last video, but I had a green day today. It was only a couple dollars, but green is green. That mindset shift will change how you view trading. It will change how you view a lot of things, right? So take it into account next time you do trade and just apply it to other things other than trading. But let me know. Leave a detail or leave a comment on what you thought, because I know it will help for sure. So stay tuned. Peace.